I want to share a little insight from the scriptures that the Lord showed me. I think this is the reason that I was thrown out of Pastor Patricia Rain's church, the Springs of Life Ministries. But this has to do with the authorship of the Gospel of John. I believe the internal evidence of the Gospel gives us the true identity of the writer of that Gospel. Now, first of all, we'll look at the identity of the disciple whom Jesus loved. Everyone believes that that was John the Apostle. But the first mention of the disciple Jesus loved in the Gospel is in chapter 11, which, as everybody knows, John chapter 11 is about the raising of Lazarus. It's the only place in the Bible where it appears. There are three references in that chapter to the disciple Jesus loved. Verse 3, it says, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. In verse 5, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister Mary and Lazarus. And then later on, in verse 35, the shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. And in 36, then said the Jews, see how he loved him. So we have three references to Lazarus being the disciple Jesus loved. Now, if we go to the end of the chapter, there's a very curious exchange that occurs here. This is after the resurrection. He met his disciples, and they were discussing the manner in which they would glorify God in their deaths. And Jesus told Peter, about, when you were younger it was this way, and when you're older, you'll be taken where you don't want to go, and another will bind you, and so on. So Peter turns around and he points to the disciple Jesus loved, and he said, what about him? Now, it seems clear to me that the reason Peter asked that was because Lazarus had already died. And it's appointed unto man once to die. And the answer that Jesus gives is very interesting. He said, if I wish that he remain till I come, what is that to you? You follow me. They were discussing the fact of the question as to whether Lazarus would die again. And Jesus left it open. He may be here until I come back. What is that to you? You follow me. Now, it's also interesting, in verse 24, immediately after that rebuke from Jesus to Peter, it says, this is the disciple who testifies of these things and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true. So the disciple Jesus loved, as he is called in the Gospel of John, is the one who wrote the Gospel of John. And I want you to consider the possibility that the Gospel of John was actually written by Lazarus. Blessed be the name of the Lord.